Marilyn Monroe's secret to effortless confidence and charisma. I'm going to tell you the secret right now. It is not a skill, it is a state. It is not a skill, it is a state. And I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that. I've got a couple things I'm going to talk about here today. How to get into the state, how to maintain the state, just some mindset around what it is. I'm going to talk about what charisma is, and I'm going to talk about how, if we don't have enough confidence ourselves, how to borrow confidence from something else, and go into a couple other things. But where did I get this from? Where did I get this idea and this conclusion from? Okay. This is a story that kicks off the charisma myth. This is a book I've been reading, but I've already heard this story before, but I wanted to just point out that I've heard the story before, but it is in the beginning of this book. So basically what happens is on a sunny summer day in 1955, Marilyn Monroe is out in New York with a photographer. And what's happening is nobody knows who she is. Nobody recognizes her. She's out in public. And the gist of the story is nobody knows who she is, but she's like, hey, you want to see Marilyn? And just like that, all of a sudden she turns into Marilyn just by changing her state, her internal state or her thought process, and then heads just will not stop turning and they all notice who she is, okay? So why is this not a skill, a state? Okay, so I want you to imagine right now when you are super focused on a task or an experience, okay? So for example, I was out on the jet ski in the middle of the Pacific Ocean 2 days ago, okay? I'm literally out riding a jet ski with dolphins. There's like 20, 30 dolphins around my jet ski. They're bumping into the jet ski. They're right in front, jumping out of the water right in front of it. It's awesome, okay? I was in this state of just enjoying the moment, like nothing else mattered, but man, this is so awesome. I'm literally out here with these dolphins. This is insane. Like, what a cool experience in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's a beautiful day out, ripping it on the jet ski, and I'm experiencing these dolphins. So why am I telling you this story, okay? I didn't need to learn how to have fun. I didn't need to learn a skill. Somebody didn't need to go and teach me, hey, when you do A, B, and C, that means you're having fun. I just went from a state of going from worrying about what I'm doing, worrying about tomorrow, thinking about all the tasks I've got to accomplish. And I just, for a second, I went from not worrying about anything to just shifting to enjoying the moment. So my state changed from thinking and worrying about the intricacies and the responsibilities of life to just saying, wow, I'm just like immersed in this experience with dolphins. The other thing that I want to share with you is flow state. If you've ever experienced flow state, what that is it's when you're really focused on a task, okay? Let's just say I'm writing a paper. Let's just say I'm doing my dishes. Let's just say I'm vacuuming, whatever it is, okay? So it's when I'm fully immersed in just that experience of completing the task. And my focus shifts from thinking about all the responsibilities of life to just, now I'm laser focused on just getting this paper done. I'm fully immersed in the experience, okay? So that's what Marilyn Monroe is doing here. She is not learning a skill. She's not teaching you, hey, do A, B, and C and you'll be charismatic. She's actually just changing her state, okay? She's changing her state from, yeah, I'm just a regular person that has all the regular hang-ups of life. There's nothing special about me, to flipping a switch. And we are now in this charismatic vibe, and people are attracted to that, okay? I would maybe explain this as potentially a spiritual shift. I think humans have a spirit inside of us that we can access, connect to God, so to speak. But what is happening here is we're going from, I would even say going from ego to spirit. Going from flesh to spirit. Those may be some of the ways that we can think about this. But what are we doing? We're going from a state of, once again, the same thing that I described before. We're going from a state of worrying about our responsibilities to enjoying the moment and loving who we are and just projecting our self out to the world. We're getting rid of the hang-ups of the doubt and the fear. We're not focusing on those. We're just focusing on like the love and the joy and the experience of life and the experience of connecting with another human being. And what's happening when we switch to that state, we start signaling without even having to teach you what these are. It's a natural phenomenon. The nonverbal body language of somebody who is competent and who is warm. So competent and warm. So charisma is the combination. The formula for charisma is competence plus warmth equals charisma. Power plus warmth equals charisma. Competence means I am sure of what I'm doing. And warmth means I'm kind and open and approachable. Okay, so you ever have, let's just think about what the opposite of that is. It's like, man, I'm doubting who I am and I don't like people. That is the opposite of charisma. All right, man, I hate life. This sucks. I just feel so insecure right now. And I just feel lost. Okay, that's the opposite of charisma. So how do we get into this state? You almost have to channel get into your spirit regardless of the outside circumstances. Okay, so the outside circumstances of life are trying to beat you down, beat you into a box. And we're just releasing from that. We're shifting our focus from that to having fun in the moment. I would even say having fun in the moment. So anyone is capable of this. If you're hanging out with your best friends and you guys are just laughing and everything you say is funny, you're like, hey, remember that time we all did this or whatever like that, you know, and everyone's just laughing. And I'm sure you've experienced this with your group of friends before. It's not just strangers. It's with your group of friends. You have experienced everything you say is funny and you all are just enjoying the moment, okay? Now, I want you to just imagine that state that you're in and just recreate it wherever you are. That feeling of freedom. Like when you're in a safety and freedom, I guess is how I would describe that. So what we're doing is getting out of the hangups of life and getting into that free, fun spirit aspect, okay? So that's just the best way that I can describe that. I always relate to hanging out with a group of friends or family or people you trust and you all are just having the best time and whatever anyone says, everyone laughs at, okay? It's just super funny. I'm sure you've experienced something like this. I have. If you haven't, you got to get better friends. But all we're doing is we're remembering that state. We're almost channeling a memory. We're remembering that state, and then we're bringing ourselves into that state regardless of the situations around us, is how I would describe that. And it kind of takes some mental discipline. So here's the thing. The society wants you to be in a mold, okay? I just watched this video of this guy. He wanted to be funny. He said a joke, and somebody stood up and said to him, hey, you're not funny. Go back, and, you know, hey, you're not funny. That guy's funny, but you're not funny. That person was trying to put this other person in a box, okay? So there may be some molds and some preconceived notions about yourself that you're allowing yourself to be put in a mental jail, and it's preventing you from being charismatic, okay? This channel that you're watching right now is called Better Relationships with Nick. The point of this channel is to help you have better relationships. I want you to be able to chat with people better, have more authentic connections, have fun in life, be able to succeed in interpersonal dynamics, and having charisma or being able to get into the state of charisma is something that is incredibly important for having better relationships, because when we let go and we're free, that allows somebody else to be free. So what is charisma doing? It's me being free, me choosing to get into a state of freedom, and people who are in their egos and their insecurities are wanting, they're like, man, basically what they're thinking subconsciously is, man, I wish I was like that. And they're gravitating to that. So it's your responsibility to have, if you want to have better relationships, to be able to channel the state of fun and freedom. It's fun and freedom, okay? Now, some people may say, well, you know what? I'm not good enough. I'm not getting into this state. I just can't do that. You don't understand. People always bullied me. I don't have the skills. Everyone told me this, and that. I don't have any friends. Here is the best way that I could describe this, and I think that even the Bible would describe the same thing. So I got this idea from a Karol G song, Ivani Bonita, and what it is when she's not feeling confident, when she's having self-doubt and things like this, she has this alter ego, this imaginary version of herself, Ivani, in which she thinks about that person and then acts how that person would act. So if I can't bring myself to get into the state by myself, what I want to maybe do is imagine, get into a creative mindset and imagine somebody who's like this and mimic their behavior. And eventually through doing that, I will become that thing. So what are all the character qualities that I want? I want people to like me. I want to have fun. I want people to respect me, people to want to be around me. So now I think about somebody who's like that. Now in no way am I encouraging you to not be your authentic self. What I'm trying to do is get you out of your current mental state and being, and get into a free creative state where it's like, man, what would it be like if I was like that? And then we are getting into that state of this alter ego, so to speak, which is our authentic self, because that's how I would act when if I were free. So what I'm doing is I'm imagining, when I think of a character, what I'm doing is I'm imagining myself in a free state. I'm imagining what I would be like in a free state, and everyone's character would be different. So why did I say the Bible relates to this? Okay, so there's this concept that human beings are not righteous by themselves, but Jesus is righteous. And this doesn't equate necessarily to charisma equally, but the concept is something that I really thought of, okay? So humans are not righteous. Humans have hang-ups. Humans have flaws and things like this, but the Jesus character does not have any of those things. So when Christians or people who read the Bible are saying, be like Jesus, it's almost as if they're borrowing Jesus's behavior. They're borrowing Jesus's righteousness. When Jesus says, follow me, it's basically saying, hey, I'm an example that you can step into and behave like me. So I want you to get out of your state and get into a state of Christ consciousness, or something like that is how I would describe that. So what I was talking about is it's almost like a spiritual thing. So Jesus is saying, hey, follow me, act like me, be like me. You're righteous because I'm righteous. So it's taking the pressure off you to perform. All you got to do is lean into me. And that's the same. In my mind, I'm equating that to the Ivani Bonita. We're taking a character, and Christ is God in human form, so a perfect human, so to speak. And so all of the humans are capable of that. They're just saying, okay, now I see an example. I see a model of what I can be like, and I can mimic that behavior, and then life flows more freely. So that's the way I'm thinking about this. I don't have it. I don't have it in me by myself, but this character that I look up to, this Jesus character, is someone that I can model after, because it seemed like God is an abstract thought. So when God is put into a human form, it's something that we can attain. So that's just the way I want you to think about this. So it's not being authentic. I'm not turning into Jesus. I'm just modeling his behavior so I can get into the peak states of humanity, is how I wanted to describe this. Now, once you're in that state, then you're in that free state. You know, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, all of these things. The charisma state is love, joy, peace, patience, all of that stuff. It's not an ego state. It's about releasing and getting into almost like a spiritual state is how I would describe that. And on a spiritual level, other humans want to be free from the hang-ups that are in their mind. And once you can model that, you can have better relationships with other people because they want to be with you. They're like, wow, I want to be like that. So, when you see Jesus out on the street or whatever he was doing, people were gravitating to him. They're like, man, this guy is somebody I can look up to. If I could just get close to this guy, man, maybe some of his magic could rub off on me. If I could just grab his garment, maybe I could be contagiously infected with his confidence and his behavior. If I could just get close to that, maybe just getting in close to proximity of that, I could become that too. Okay, so that's really Marilyn Monroe's secret. It is a state. It is a state we get into, not a skill we need to learn. The only skill that I need to learn is to continuously choose to not focus on the hang-ups of life and to focus on the freedom and the fun aspect of life. I was just out in Hollywood this week, and we were out on the Hollywood Boulevard, and I don't know, someone from Scientology gave us this ticket or something, so we were just going up to people and just being playful. Me and my buddy, we were just being playful and just having fun. All right, hey ladies, you guys curious about joining Scientology? Or something like that. So we're just being playful and having fun, in that playful state. And there's just this freedom of man, we're having fun. And then people around us are like, man, they accept your frame of charisma. And they're like, now they're free because it is contagious. Charisma is like a positive, contagious disease. And people around you are going to be infected by your charisma. They want to be around that thing. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be awesome. You just need to get into the state. And you can't I just want to say that just like flow state or focusing, you're not going to be in the state all the time. All right? It is normal to have human hangups. It's normal to go up and down. Now I'm charismatic. Now I'm having a bad day. It's normal to have a human experience, okay? But if we want to have better connections with people, better conversations, we need to be able to channel the state of freedom and fun. And that is going to contagiously infect the people around us for a positive thing. I was just telling my buddy, the greatest attraction advice that I've seen, it comes from a song written 60 years ago. Girls just want to have fun. All right? If you want women and people to like you, what do they want to do? They just want to have fun. They just want to break out of the mold and just feel free to be themselves. So if you can create an experience where that person can just stop worrying about all the problems in their life and just come out and say, and maybe you guys are doing a little role play, you guys are, that's a great way that I love to connect with people, doing a role, a playful role play or banter or flirtatiousness. How does that come? It comes from, I'm in the state of I'm going to have fun today. I'm going to come with this frame of maybe I'm joking around with one of my coworkers and I just say hey, you know what? Manager came up to me. Manager told me that I needed to tell you, you got to start doing this. And hey, you need to go do like, and I'll tell them a task that sucks. So I'll just come up and, hey, just want to let you know the manager told me personally to come up to you and to tell you, you got to go do this right now. And when you come in with that vibe of like, you know, it's kind of like I'm kind of playful, serious. That person's like, oh, really? Well, I think he told you to do that. Okay. And now you're having that experience of open playfulness of like that role play. So I'm putting on a character that is authentic because I had that thought, man, I'm going to pretend to be the manager right now and come up to this person and say this. I'm being authentic. I'm not putting on somebody else that is not me. I'm not encouraging you to be somebody who you are not. I'm encouraging you to get in a state where you are free to have fun, and this character, this imaginary character of what you are like when you are in a state of fun is the character that comes out. So it requires breaking the mold. You got to just be able to get out of your own hang-ups and your own head. And it's going to take practice to do that, but all you have to do is get into the state. Once you're in the state, you don't have to learn any skills. It just is who you are. But society's trying to keep you down, trying to keep you thinking, oh, nobody wants to talk to me. I'm not good enough. People don't like me. I want you to stop thinking those thoughts and just imagine the character like you're a rock star performer on stage. How would you behave if you were Haley Williams? If you were Brendan Urie, I think is his name, from Panic at the Disco. You know, that character, if you just let that character out and have fun, that's just normal to have fun and go, you know, just go experience life. So if you can't channel that state of having fun with your friends, if you can't imagine that time when you were with your friends, then imagine a character. And then a character which is a better version of you, and you could even give it another name, like I'm knowledgeable Nick, so Super Nick or something like that, okay? So let's just think about that. That's how I would tell you Marilyn Monroe's secret to effortless charisma is just a state. It's just a state, break the mold, and you will naturally have the nonverbals. Have a wonderful day, guys.